The Baader-Meinhof Effect, when something becomes common in your eyes. It started with a name, one she had never heard before. Margaret was sitting in her favorite armchair, flipping through a magazine, when she stumbled upon an article about a little-known 20th-century political group called the Baader-Meinhof. The name was strange, almost foreign to her ears, and she quickly turned the page without another thought. But then, the next day, as she sipped her morning tea, the radio host mentioned it in passing, some historical documentary being aired that weekend. Margaret frowned. That name again. She hadn't thought about it in years, or had she? Had she ever heard it before at all? A few days later, her neighbor, an elderly man who loved to talk about history, brought it up over the fence. "You ever hear of the Baader-Meinhof?" he asked, as if reading her mind. Margaret nearly dropped her gardening shears. Suddenly, it was everywhere. A newspaper headline, a snippet of conversation at the grocery store, even a throwaway line in a TV show she'd watched a dozen times before. It felt like the universe was whispering it to her, over and over, as if she were meant to notice. At first, she laughed it off. Coincidence, she told herself. But then, unease settled in. Why was this happening? Was it a sign, a warning, or was she just noticing it now? Margaret had always been a practical woman. She didn't believe in omens or fate. But this felt different. It nagged at her, like an itch she couldn't scratch. She started paying closer attention to the world around her, listening for that name, waiting for it to appear again. And, of course, it did. But here's the thing, it wasn't appearing more often. She was just noticing it more. Our minds are funny that way. Once something enters our awareness, we start seeing it everywhere. Psychologists call it the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, the illusion that something we've just learned or noticed suddenly pops up with unusual frequency. It's not that the world changes. It's that we do. Margaret realized something profound in those weeks of quiet obsession. She had spent years walking through life half asleep, only seeing what she expected to see, hearing what she expected to hear. But now, for the first time, she was truly looking, and what she found was astonishing. The world was full of patterns, connections, little moments of serendipity, if only she paid attention. The way the sunlight caught the dew on her roses in the morning. The way her old friend's laugh still sounded exactly the same after all these years. The way certain songs brought back memories she thought she'd forgotten. She had spent so much of her life waiting for big, dramatic signs, some cosmic confirmation that she was on the right path. But the truth was, the signs had always been there. She just hadn't been looking. The Baader-Meinhof effect taught her something invaluable. We don't find meaning by chasing it. We find it by noticing. Life doesn't shout its lessons at us. It whispers. And if we listen, really listen, we start to hear the same whispers everywhere. So the next time you notice something repeating in your life, a word, a number, an idea, don't dismiss it as mere coincidence. Pause. Ask yourself, why am I seeing this now? What is it trying to tell me? Because sometimes, the universe isn't speaking louder. You're just finally listening. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.